All right, we've been covering a bunch of the Epic collections here, and I've gone through the Avengers ever since Epic number 19. I kind of continued along because they had that stretch going on. Now, they released this one last year, which is, or I'm sorry, this year, and which is, I was waiting for. They did Taking Aim after this one. I've been waiting for this to come out in order to kind of progress all the way through the most recent Avengers Epic Collection. So this came out as The Gathering, Volume 25, and it covers Avengers 367 to 377, Annual 23, X-Men 26, Avengers West Coast 101, Uncanny X-Men 307, and Avengers Log number 1. Now, I've liked most of this era so far, the leather jacket era, as they call it. It's not one of the most popular Avengers eras, of course, but this, I thought it's not that bad up until this point so far. And so the first issue was pretty great. I loved this one, and it was a vision focused issue. And what we're going to get into over the next two volumes of Avengers Epics is a lot of these are going to have single character focused issues where they really try to develop single character, and Vision has sort of self doubts and things like that that are building here. And then we get into Blood Ties. Now, this Blood Ties is a crossover with the X-Men where the Avengers go off to Genosha, which was Magneto's place. It's fallen apart. There's a bunch of tyrants kind of taking it over. Somebody kidnaps Quicksilver and Crystal's daughter. SHIELD tries to get involved and tells them not to go. And you get a messy crossover with a bunch of X-Men stuff that you unless you're reading the X-Men, you don't know what's going on here. And so it's a big pain to read this, and it really bogs down the Avengers. And unfortunately, this is kind of where things start to turn to where the book is not as good as what it was before. Now, it seems like they lose their direction for a time after this crossover here. And they get the crossover done. Eventually, they rescue the baby and all that, and they get back. And then there's a couple different storylines that go on here. There's this character, Proctor, who comes from a different universe, and he shows up, and this is a big deal about Cersei, the Inhuman. Now it's and this entire plot line is really about her as it goes through here. And as they go through, you get Steve Epting's art a bunch through here. This is early Steve Epting, who becomes one of the best master artists out there later. You can tell he even has beautiful work at this time. So it's nice. You get to look at this pretty cool art. This storyline, though, with Cersei, though, Proctor basically is from a bunch of different worlds. And he is the swordsman from another universe, it turns out. And he loves Cersei and wants her to be with him forever. And so he's screwing with them and screwing with everything here. And that actually is messed with her. Now, eventually she ends up going away because of this, and that's kind of the main plot line of what we have going on here. Now, as Avengers goes on, there's just single one-off sort of storylines at this point. It feels like they're filler issues almost. Now, Crystal, who is an Inhuman. Now, yes, the Avengers at this point are Cersei, Swordsman, Crystal, Quicksilver, Giant Man, and Captain America is kind of in it, but not really. And who else is in it? It's just a bunch of names who you're Vision's, of course, in it. Deathcry, who you're who's Deathcry? It's a bunch of random Avengers at this point. That makes it very difficult to follow. When you pick up an issue, you really don't even know which one it's going to be about. Now, this one is just a Quicksilver single issue when he's just kind of dealing with things himself. And it's a solo shot, basically. Now, at the end of this is Avengers Log, and it just kind of goes over the Avengers history in text and goes over all the members in text, and that's what the Avengers Log is. So it's a really messy deal here, and most of it, again, focuses on Quicksilver and Crystal's relationship, which I guess they're trying to repair at this point after the Cersei deal, after the X-Men crossover. So there's no consistency whatsoever here. And it makes it a little hard to want to invest into these characters and read. Now, Cersei and the Black Knight do disappear after this, and so we're going to get into actually some more of these random character vignettes while they kind of find their footing with Avengers here, and it just doesn't quite work out. So even though I like a lot of the art, and I think everything's really nice when Epting is drawing it, there's a lot of filler artists in here as well, so you got a major mixed bag and huge inconsistency in this volume. I call this a 6 out of 10 overall. and difficult to read unless you're going to be reading all of the Avengers for the sake of reading all of the Avengers. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.